Well, you can say that this round of the Chess Olympiad was really the one which tested India's mettle, both when it came to the men's section and when it came to the women's section. But in the end of the day, it is India that continued to do well in the Chess Olympiad because, breaking news, folks, in the latest round of the Chess Olympiad that has finished, India's men's team, the open team, have beaten Azerbaijan 3-1. It was a very strong and spirited Azerbaijan team that had two very good players in Nijat Abbasov and, if you look at Shakhriyar Mamadyarov. In the women's section, they bounced back from a very, very deflating loss, but they managed to overpower Kazakhstan 2.5 to 1.5. And because of this, the India Open team and the India women's team continue their unbeaten dominant run in the Chess Olympiad 2024 that has been held in Budapest at this point in time. For the men's section, if you have to look at it, the open section, two names continue to dominate at this point in time: Gukesh and Arjun Erigaisi. Arjun Erigaisi continued to show why he is one of the best, and he registered yet another win to ensure that he was 5 out of 5, and he's now taken his live rating to 2,708. There is a probability that if he wins his remaining 4 games, if he manages 9 wins, he could cross the coveted 2,800 ELO mark. Gukesh yet again put on a sublime performance in the middle game, and also because of his dominance in the entire positional play, even his opening, ensured that he put on a splendid win against his opponent also. Pragnananda drew and Vidit drew, but Pragnananda and Vidit had the two tougher opponents in Nijat Abbasov and Shakhriyar Mamadyarov. Mamadyarov is one of the best players who came from Azerbaijan, along with Abdul Sattarov, Nadirbek Abdul Sattarov, and Nijat Abbasov. So, Prag drew against Abbasov, and if you look at it, Shakhriyar Mamadyarov also drew. But Vidit will rue the fact that he had a +5 advantage. He had a positional advantage, but he squandered it. It was anyway not going to be easy against Mamadyarov. Mamadyarov is one of the best guys whose defense is impeccable at this point. So it is going to be a really the thing that Vidit will have to introspect. He squandered a winning position, and because of that, he will have to wonder what he needs to improve going into the next rounds. Now, as far as the women's section is concerned, they were facing an uphill struggle. Harika Dronavalli lost her game. She was up +2, but it is a really important situation at this point in time. So it was very important that yes, Harika lost, and then India were facing big trouble. Divya Deshmukh took a strategical thing, and that is why she managed to ensure that she got the draw. But Vaishali Ramesh Babu and Vantika ensured that yes, it was a wonderful, and Vantika was up really brilliantly. She managed to control the central position, and that is why it is going to be amazing at this point. But Vaishali up pawn pieces, up several pieces, and that is why she was just too good against her opponent, and she won in dramatic style. So Vantika Agarwal and Vaishali Ramesh Babu saved the day for India. Now, that was a 2.5 to 1.5 win against Kazakhstan. India won 3-1 against Azerbaijan. But now you are going to see the two toughest rounds that's going to happen. India might face Vietnam. Vietnam are the other team that has not been defeated at this point. Yes, it could depend upon the software who it picks. Hungary, China, Vietnam, India. These are the teams in the open category also who are doing very well. Maybe it could be India, Vietnam, and potentially 7th round of the Chess Olympiad, India versus China could happen, which means preview to the World Chess Championship final in Domaraju Gukesh and Ding Lijen. It is simply going to be a magnificent feat. Round 7 is going to be the make or break round that determines whether India can get a gold medal or a silver medal of any kind. So the Indian team has been simply sensational so far, with both Gukesh and Arjun playing like beasts. Pragnananda so far has not yet delivered, but he's the solid rock upon which all the tough players will have to get through. With it, yes, he did squander an advantage, but remember, there is able backup in Pintala Harikrishna also. Today, Tanya Sachdev took a break, but then it was a strategic decision, probably by Abhijit Kunte, that yes, let her take a break. But looking at two, it is going to be very, very interesting as to the two losses that Harika has had. Maybe she may be rested in the next round also. But Harika, after losing, she does bounce back in style also. So it's going to be very, very interesting. So people joining us, 2.5, 1.5. India women's team beat Kazakhstan, but the India men's team beat 3-1 Azerbaijan, a very, very strong Azerbaijan team that is there. So, death killer Gukesh versus Ding in round 6 or 7 Trivia World Championship. Absolutely. That is why the Olympiad is going to peak when that happens. And Gukesh versus Ding. Ding has drawn all 4 games. Gukesh has won all 4 games. And Manish Kaushal. Yes, Manish, sorry. I mean, I was wanting to say some other name. Nadirbek Abdul Sattarov just slipped out of my mind. So thank you, Manish, for giving it. But great win, though. VD squandered a winning advantage. Sanket Joshi, yes, that is one thing that is really going to trouble him at this point in time. So how did he manage to not convert the advantage against Mohammad Yarov? Because Mohammad Yarov, remember, he managed to beat him in one event. Vidit wanted to take revenge. He continued playing. He wanted to grind it out. But unfortunately, it could not happen. And that is why Mohammad Yarov, you could say that Vidit got out of jail, because at one point he was struggling. He had squandered the advantage, but he held on for a draw. So kudos to Vidit in that sense also. Then why didn't Rajabov play for Azerbaijan? And Vantika and Vaishali say the day, Sanket Joshi. Sportsman, why did Timur Rajabov? I think Timur Rajabov has gone into coaching, I may say, sportsman. I think he's not wanting to play that much. He's gone into mentorship at this point in time. That's why Rajabov, I mean, yes, he was one of the greatest players to have never won the World Chess Championship. He, Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, and Vasily Ivanchuk. Ivanchuk in particular has had a second win in the Olympiad. What a brilliant performance Chucky's been doing at this point. Vice Tamarin, India versus Hungary next round. Are you sure about that, Vice Tamarin? Because somewhere I was hearing it could be India, Vietnam also. Vietnam, by the way, what a performance these guys are putting on at this point. Death Killer, are you a chess lover? As you know a lot about sports cheers. Well, I do love chess. It is the one thing that I have always been very passionate about. Why Harika played and not Tanya Vanchika, and I think Sanket Joshi, that was a strategic move, and captain decides that yes, I think Abhijit Kunte did decide that yes, let Tanya take a break. I think Tanya prefers, I think, a break and then a comeback. She comes back stronger in that sense. But maybe in the upcoming games, when the challenge becomes tougher, you have to select the best player on the board at that point in time. It's Swiss pairing. China, Hungary, Vietnam is a rating order. So India versus Hungary next round. Well, it will be very, very interesting because India did beat Hungary B also. So when will this chess Olympiad finish? It will finish by September 22nd, Stump Stories. 11 rounds in total, 6 is remaining. Death Killer. Chucky, my favorite player due to his playstyle, should have won 2005, man. I mean, Vasily Ivanchuk, man. Garry Kasparov used to fear this man. Remember, someone who can draw fear in the eyes of a great like Garry Kasparov, Ivanchuk. And remember, he also won the World Rapid and Blitz title. Truly one of the greatest players that we have had the privilege of seeing at this point. So, Ivanchuk defeating Wesley So in the previous round, again putting up a decent show. So, we may have a lot of action coming up, and boy, oh boy, it's only going to get intense. India, Hungary, there are so many good players in Richard Drapo and Peter Lecco. It is simply one of the best teams that are there. Vietnam, China, US, it's only going to get worse. And don't forget Armenia. Armenia in both the men and in the open and the women's section was truly magnificent. Durga Prasad Maji, Magnus Carlsen drew today. Yes, but Carlsen at one point was almost facing trouble against his Turkish opponent. So Norway, Turkey, luckily Aryan Tari stepped up to it. Otherwise, Norway would have been in trouble. Prague will take on Rapo, I guess. Ooh, if it's Prague versus Richard Rapo, he better be careful. India are going to face a real big issue in Hungary. So that is why they have to be. Magnus saved Norway today with Death Killer. Wrong. I would say it was Aryan Tari who saved him. So that's why. Kasparov and his fear for Chucky. What a player. Death Killer saying yes. Vasily Ivanchuk, what a player. What's the difference between open and women tournament? Some stories, open tournament is the men's section. women's section, as you rightly said, that's the women's section. It's often called open because there are far more men's teams that are there at this point in time. So, in a way, now India are right in the midst for a gold medal. There are 5 teams who are coming in: Hungary, Vietnam, China, Armenia, Mongolia, all those teams. US also, they are kind of iffy at this position, but then it's going to be great. So, wonderful situation for India beating Azerbaijan 3-1 and then 2.5, 1.5 Kazakhstan. It is a magnificent thing. A giant here. Arjun will be gold medal for board and will go for 2,800. He's a beast. He is Mad Max. It's really, really Mad Max at this point. And that's why Arjun Erigaisi, whatever it is, he is the story from the chess Olympiad, whatever you may look at it. Because Gukesh is your world chess champion, but you may see somebody apart from Vishwanathan Anand who has managed to breach the 2,800 yellow mark. I'll tell you why the 2,800 yellow mark is so prestigious. It is like you've got an average of 100 after playing more than 60-70 tests. That's how the 2,800 yellow mark is. Very, very prestigious. Very few individuals have managed. Magnus Carlsen has a rating of 2,832. So that is the simple position. Jayan Jha. Harika lost from winning position, not single out, teaching with it what to do. Jayan Jha, I am very sorry. If you want to rewind it, see, I had mentioned Harika that yes, she did lose from that particular position. She was up an advantage, but then she squandered the pawn advantage that her opponent had. It was truly magnificent at this point. So it was really, and please, words, Jayan Jha, please, I would just ask you to can't control your nerves, just like how our chess players are doing at this point in time. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Before I do sportsman, 3 players are now about 2,800. What is the max number of players having about 2,800 at one time? I can't recollect, but I think there was Kasparov and Karpov at one stage who are, I think, Kasparov definitely over 2,800. But I think Magnus, Fabiano, I think they have been the maximum at this point. This era has seen more 2,800 play. I think even for a brief while, Nakamura was also in the midst. So that's the way, Hikaru Nakamura. So great stuff in the chess Olympiad. It's only going to get interesting. India versus Hungary, potentially what we are seeing. It could be India, Vietnam, India versus China. Was it? Yes, Giants, even Levon Aronian also was at that time. So Levon, another great of the game. So thank you so much, folks. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis.